lakh members, 24 different cities. And what brings me great joy is that, with such a vast number of, past presidents who have contributed, it's so tough to start an association. And then the present, up to the present generation, you showed the wonderful video. And of course, we have legends here, whether it is Krishna Seth or whether it is Sangeeta, each one every one, a very famous chef from Tamil Nadu. So many people are here. And of course, my own dear friend, Divan, you talk of administrators saying something, but ultimately what is done is by people like you. I am in this particular business where we look after food security, whether it is, we call it as a public distribution system or something that looks into food security. Then subsequently in cooperation, we run mega stores. It's not just that, government, private sector, we run mega stores. But we are always appreciative of the fact is that, if India has to develop, if the state has to develop, people like you have to thrive. And that is where I think, my salute to you would go from my tenure as a health secretary. I was there for quite a long time, and especially in COVID period when the entire industry was reeling. And the maximum impact would have been for you when we had this lockdown. But the way you rebounded, and in particular as a dedicated facilities and also for those in COVID care homes, that can never be forgotten. That's the way you transformed yourself in crisis, apart from the way you gave food to people. That I can never forget, because that was a time when people had just escaped. They could have thought of fear and then gone. And now coming back to what we can do. See, when you go to Mount Italy, I think most of us would have gone. What struck me was, even in the topmost place of food was, Indian food was given as a buffet. So that is the way we have reached. The Indian food industry has transformed itself in such a way. But what concerns me, yesterday I was there in Kadalur and other districts. Even now there is a lot of challenges in procurement, production, procurement. Being a primary sector, easily neglected. Everybody looks into car industry or a hotel industry, airplane industry and all. But what we forget is that this basic production industry, you look at Sri Lanka, the challenges which it faced, the Ukraine, Soviet Union, Russian conflict which affected the food impact. That is where from procurement we have to reduce wastage. Then when it comes back, how do we preserve it? How do you bring, when as an industry you have to prefer, Afghani food is available in Chennai. International food is available in Chennai. That is where each of you are doing. So how do you procure it? How do you maintain food safety and standards according to the latest of 2006 and the 11th Act and the rules 2011? I have also been Commissioner Food Safety, so I know the challenges. One small incident that gets blown apart, that puts a dent. You look at chicken, the moment bird flu strikes, suddenly there will be a wildfire news that don't take this. Suppose, so those are the challenges which we have to guard against. Ensure that the quality of food, the way you prepare these things, plus of course preserving our native dishes. We had this International Year of Millets, but I am of the view that that alone should not be that. You talk of diet foods, you talk 7 different or 8 different kinds of foods are there in the hospital. That again is a challenge for you, is that when you look at the consumer, he feels they say, but tasty, I want it in a tasty way. And the doctor says you do this, you do that, doesn't get in. You have to balance that. So those are the things. That is why I ultimately tell the 1,200 odd delegates and the chefs behind the scene that you are artists per se. You create, you innovate, you preserve and then present. Everything is an art. That is the way this particular industry is going to offer you a lot. One side, fireside chat, another side. Talk with the expert, talk with chef. You can exchange this knowledge, and ultimately we should ensure that it is not just the stock food which we get in dhaba or idli dosa what we get, but the way we innovate and develop and ensure that this particular industry goes. Finally, I end by telling that I always look at things very positively. I am one of the officers who had so many challenges, whether it was Kumbhavanapaya tragedy or tsunami or COVID. I was allowed to handle these challenges by government. What struck me always was the resilience of people, the resilience of this industry when you were challenged during COVID, the way you bounce back, the resilience of people who have come out of COVID. Things are changed. Now everybody wants to spend some time. It was not just when we started once upon a time going to Adyar Gate or Taj Hotel was once in a lifetime opportunity. Things have changed. You can see the people walking and going out of five-star hotels. They have completely, that has become very socialist in the way airports have become socialist. So this is where the opportunity is there, that you should ensure and take advantages of this particular place. Last but not least, I always end by saying that globe is the stage now for India. It is not, even now, wherever you go, 20 years, like 1999, I went to one of the countries, very difficult to find an Indian restaurant. Now all these legends who are there, they have their own, either own thing or the franchise. So everywhere you go, so globe is a stage and people are not running after, it was not like spices, pet kharab jayega, I'll avoid touring. I still remember 1970s and 80s, Greg Chappell and all, they never used to come to India thinking that the food is not good. Today, our Indian food, people crave for it. So that is the globe is a stage for each one of you. Develop into second and third tier cities also, lot of opportunities are there. You go and see Salem, there was a collector there, it is better than a big metropolis now. That's the kind of opportunity to growth is there. Look at it in a last way. And last but not least, a touch of that thing is, once you are successful, when you replicate it multiple times, ensure that quality. Somebody is coming to you because of your quality, but suddenly somebody wants, bankers come and say that 100 store, 200 store, don't compromise on quality, because and style is what we survive on. With these few words, I wish these 2 days are very productive. Enjoy the city, look around the places, and have a nice day. Thank you.
Subscribe to Walgan Television.
Please subscribe Walgan Television.